It's time to get inside the Giants huddle.
Huddle up, huddle up, huddle up.
On Giants.com.
Here we go.
And the Giants mobile
Get
app.
them in there, let's go.
Part of the Giants Podcast Network.
Welcome to the newest episode of the Giants Huddle Podcast. John Schmeelk with you. Today's guest, Giants safety Jabrill Peppers. But first, I want to remind you that the Giants Huddle Podcast is part of the Giants Podcast Network, which is presented by Investors Bank. It includes the Giants Rewind Podcast and Big Blue Kickoff Live, our daily call-in show every day at 12, which you can find on the Giants mobile app at giants.com/podcast and your favorite podcast platforms. Now we're joined by our guest. He is Giants safety Jabrill Peppers. Jabrill, how are you, man?
I'm doing well, man. How you doing?
I'm doing well. It's good to have you with me here. We're doing this on remote, but I think it's something you guys have kind of managed all year, and I guess that's a good way to start. What does it say about your team, the way you've managed all the unique circumstances that you're walking into Week 13 here, tied for first place in the NFC East?
Well, I mean, it's unique circumstances for everyone, but, I'm just glad that, we're handling it the right way. It's not affecting us too much, and, we're still well prepared week in and week out.
Yeah, no question about it. And let's talk about your defense specifically. Why do you think your group, along with your coaching staff, has been able to emerge as a top 10 defense this late in the year? What makes you guys special?
Just attention to detail, man. Learning from mistakes. The coaches coach hard, and, we take to the coaching. We want to be coached. We want to buy in. And, I think when you got a group of guys that, want to do that, I think success is the only option.
Well, you talk about attention to detail, so I guess I'll follow up with this. What's different about the way this coaching staff approaches teaching and that attention to detail compared to maybe some of the other coaches and teams and staffs you've worked with before?
Well, I don't really like to compare because you always,
no, of course, that's fair,
belittle someone. But, what I can speak on is these guys are great teachers. They welcome every question. And, they just find ways to get things to resonate with, whatever players. So some guys learn better visually. Some guys learn better on the field. Some guys learn better, by writing things down. So I think they've done a great job of, understanding what each guy needs and tending to that.
Does that approach also require you guys to make sure you go out of your way? And I know you're a guy that does this already, but for the rest of the guys on the defense, that you have to do a little extra work and do a little bit more studying, a little bit more film work to execute what they need you to.
Absolutely. We're hard on each other. The coaches don't have to mandate that. Logan Ryan, myself, Nate Ebner, guys who understand the importance of film study and preparation so you can go out there and play faster, worry-free with the confidence you need to play with. I think that's definitely a standard.
How does that manifest it on the field? How does that help you when you do that extra work and you do have that attention to detail and extra preparedness?
Oh, because you recognize things. Whether you've seen it on tape, whether, it was a nugget a coach told you, but when you dive in to your opponent and you really understand them and what they're trying to do to opposing defenses, it just allows you to play fast by recognizing certain splits, certain sets, recognizing what they like to do out of certain personnels. Now, you're not going to know everything, but the more you prepare for and the more you study for, the more you will know, and, it could turn a good play into a great play.
Yeah, no question about it, Jabrill. We had Logan on this podcast last week, and he talked about the importance of disguising what you're trying to do. Is that part of that attention to detail, doing those small things pre-snap to put a shadow of a doubt into that opposing quarterback? Absolutely. That slows them down a little bit?
Absolutely. You don't want to give it to them too early, and you don't want to give it to them easy. We've had our fair share of, great quarterbacks who we've played, and once you see a great quarterback, have trouble with it, it definitely makes you want to buy in more, learn how we can, keep disguising things differently. When you have guys like, Logan Ryan, Julian Love, myself, Xavier McKinney, guys who can do all things, play outside, play inside, can blitz, drop in the undercovers, drop deep third, deep half, it definitely gives you a lot of variation. And when guys can handle it, I know the coaches feel like they can keep throwing a lot of things at us because how we've been handling it.
Yeah, I'm going to throw James Bradbury into the mix, too. I've seen him replaced as a safety sometimes in some of the stuff you guys do. Would you be able to do all this stuff the coaches are asking you to do if you didn't have such a smart and versatile group in terms of your skill sets?
It'll definitely be harder. You know, you definitely have to have a certain level of, you know, football understanding and wits and, you know, anticipation. You know, I definitely think no matter what the guys, you know, possess, I think this coaching staff does a great job of playing guys to their strengths. So whatever our strengths might have been, you know, I think they would have done a great job anyway of, you know, putting us in positions to excel.
How tough is it, Jabrill? You mentioned trying to disguise differently because, you know, when teams see you guys on tape, eventually they're going to find the tendency, right? And you have to keep playing that cat and mouse game. So how hard is it as you get deeper into the season and more of what you do is on tape to keeping things different so that teams can't figure out what you're doing?
Well, I mean, it's not that easy, you know, because we have so much variation, and week to week our game plan changes. Like, we might play a coverage one week and not play it again, you know, so it definitely gives the offense a lot to think about and to practice against, you know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. So all we want is that little bit of shadow of doubt or that little hitch of uncertainty, and, you know, that's all we did. I mean, that's all we need, you know, and that's a win for us. So, you know, we know we play great quarterbacks. We know sometimes, you know, they're going to figure it out and win. You know, those guys get paid a lot of money too, but the harder we can make it on them and the more we can keep throwing at them, I think the better off we'll be.
The New York Giants and Quest Diagnostics want our fans to come back stronger than ever. Now you can order your own lab test through Quest Direct to get the health answers you need most. Look, I'm a novice here, but I watch the tape every Monday and Tuesday, Jabrill, and, you know, you guys get into eventually what looks like, all right, this is cover 3, this is cover 2, but the way you get there is so different based on the week that I have to rewind 2 or 3 times to see who's going where, who's playing what spot. And look, I have a clicker, and I get to watch it 3 times. I can only imagine what these other quarterbacks are seeing in real time. So
exactly.
How does that manifest itself on the field with opposing quarterbacks when it takes them that extra beat or 2 or 3 to see what's going on back there?
Well, then that's when the big dogs up front get to eat. You know, make them hold the ball a little longer than he expected to. Now, you know, now big Leo's in his face. Now Big Dex is scraping around. Now Dalvin is coming fat, Jabal, you know, or we might send a nickel pressure in there, or I might be blitzing. So, you know, it's a lot to think about, you know, especially when it gets, you know, them longer down in distances where we can really throw our exotic stuff out there. You know, so we know it's definitely tough for opposing quarterbacks, but we know they're going to make plays too, you know. So, you know, like you said, it's a cat and mouse game. You know, I like to consider it a chess game.
Sure.
You know, your move, my move, your move, my move, and, you know, I should get a beat on, you know, what strategy you trying to use, and, you know, you can try to get a beat on what strategy we're using. So, and I think the coaching staff does a great job of in-game adjustments, because we might have a plan for the week, then we get out there and they're running something completely different than we're used to seeing on, you know, on tape. Now we got to adjust on the fly. So, you know, it's a back-and-forth battle, man, but that's why you got to love this game, man, because Sunday is the day you put it all together. You know, your whole week of preparation, you know, whether it's film study, practicing hard, getting your body ready to go, and then going out there and seeing it all come together on Sundays, man, it's fun, man. It's definitely fun to be a part of.
Yeah, it's certainly fun to watch. And then once you guys get past the strategy, the disguise, the scheme, then I know this coaching staff is very focused based on wherever you are on the field, Jabrill. You have to play the correct technique, and you have to be in the right spot and play the way they want you to play. So what are some of the basic tenets that you guys have to follow? You've become a very heavy zone team over the course of this season, and obviously depending on what zone you're in, your responsibilities are different. But what are some of the basic fundamentals that you guys have to stick to in order to execute some of these heavy zone schemes that Pat Graham has put in over the past few weeks?
Well, you got to be excellent reading the quarterback. You got to have excellent breaks. Everyone has to run to the ball, and we have to be terrific tacklers. You know, that's about all I'll say on that, you know, without giving away too much. But that's, you know, those are definitely, you know, the main points.
Are you enjoying the role that this coaching staff has kind of carved out for you?
Absolutely. You know, I'm enjoying playing, you know, playing alongside Logan, enjoy playing alongside Bradbury, you know, and just the journey we've taken and the steps we've taken compared to how we started off the season, you know, it definitely speaks volume to our work and, you know, how we come into work each and every week.
You already mentioned him a couple times. What's been the impact of Logan and Bradbury on this defense?
Well, Brad's just been shutting everything down. You know, he's a physical corner with the best ball skills I think I've seen, you know, and at any level of football. And he's a big dude who can move that quick within his cylinder. You know, great feet, And then Logan just brings a experience, savvy, competitiveness, and we were actually talking about this earlier. We like to compete with each other, when we out there, keep pushing each other, man, because I think that's good for us. It's good for the team. And, once we get our young bucks up and running, like Zay, once he, starts to have a defined role, the more this thing takes on, man. I'm just curious to see, how good we can be, all the things we can do. Blake's playing out of his mind in the middle. Our D-line has just been stout all year. So, I'm excited. I'm excited about this group.
You mentioned the D-line. They've been stopping the run. I mean, you guys don't even have to bring that extra safety into the box a lot of the time.
Absolutely.
And how much does that impact the amount of disguise you're able to do when you can just start in that two-safety shell and then basically do whatever you want out of that?
It definitely helps, but, we like some tackles too now. but nah, man, it definitely helps. And then the trust factor that we've built within one another, because not having no OTAs is not an excuse, but, OTAs is huge for, just developing that trust, getting the reps out the way, making the early mistakes in OTAs as opposed to, making them in camp or making them on, some of the early games we've played.
Sure.
But throughout the year, man, I think we did a great job of working in cohesion, trusting each other to everyone do their 111th, because if everyone does their 111, the job will get done. So, I think we've definitely been, on the up and up, but it's still a lot of room for improvement, man. We all know that. So, but it's just fun and it makes you feel good to see how much we've developed and, come together as a defense.
Jabrill, you're getting your tackles because you have Julian and Logan back there deep sometimes, and you're basically playing, I realize you're a safety, but you're almost playing that second linebacker spot next to Blake sometimes down there, right, in some of those sub-packages?
Yeah. Absolutely.
And that allows you to get after the quarterback, which I imagine has got to be fun for you. Hey, Giant fans, get a New York Giants checking account from Investors Bank with the Giants branded debit card, security features, and discounts at the Giants online shop. You can earn up to $250 when you open an account at investorsbank.com/Giants. Member FDIC. All right, let's talk about Seattle real quick here. Russell Wilson, let's start as a passer, Jabrill. What's the biggest challenge when you watch him on tape? We all know about his proficiency with the deep ball.
Yeah, he's one of the best deep ball throwers in the National Football League. He's a guy who can make all the throws. And, he looks to get his playmakers the ball. So, we definitely have to be on our P's and Q's. We have to trust what we see, and we have to, play very competitive football on the 50-50 balls. And, they have guys who can go up and high point the ball, so we have to play great through the hands.
And then how do you contain him as a runner?
You have to be excellent in your, rush responsibilities, your rush scheme, whatever that rush is, have to have great containment, and try to keep them in the pocket and don't let them outside and extend them plays on us like we've all seen them do numerous amounts of times.
Great pair of wide receivers, but very different guys. Give me your little scouting report without giving away everything you got, obviously, on Metcalf and Lockett. How do you slow them down?
Both those guys are true speed, 4.3. DK's a big guy, go up and make the 50-50 balls. 50-50 catches. He can take the top off. And I think he's a better route runner than, a lot of people give him credit for. He's strong at the top of his breaks. TD been doing it for a long time now. Excellent in the slot. He can line up outside. He's an excellent route runner. Once he gets in the teeth of the defense, he can be a lot to deal with. So, and with the acquisition of Chris Carson, they got back. They got a guy who they could, hand the ball off to, and he's a physical downhill runner. Good speed, can run through the tackles and bounces. So, we have our hands full this week, but we accept the challenge, man. We love the challenge.
I got to imagine, and you made this point before, this has got to be a team effort, right? Everyone just do their 111th job because you're not stopping DK Metcalf with one guy. You're not stopping Chris Carson with one guy. This has got to be a total team effort, right?
Absolutely. And, we have to play great complementary football, in all phases. Last week we kind of got exploited on special teams a little bit, but then we had to go out there, play great, fundamentally sound football, situationally, complementary football, and, limit our mistakes, just make them beat us.
And that's what you guys have done all year. You've given up some of the fewest big plays in all of football. Is that one of the real keys this week, given their skill set, their quarterback, their wide receivers, just to prevent those big plays?
Absolutely. You know, it's easy to score when, you know, teams is constantly having explosive plays, but, you know, offenses don't like having to tick down the field, you know, and I think that works into the defense's favor.
Final question. Do you keep an eye on a guy like Jamal Adams, see how he's playing, you know, fellow safety? He leads them in sacks. I think he's second in quarterback hits. Do you like take time to watch some of those other guys at those positions and just kind of see what they're doing around the league sometimes?
Oh, yeah, I watch all the top guys, you know.
What do you think of Jamal and how he's playing?
I think he's playing well, especially with all the injuries he's been dealing with. You know, I think he's only played in like 6 or 7 games.
Yep, 7. Yep.
Yeah, he leading them in sacks, QB hits. Like, you know, that's a great feat when you think about it. You know, and I'm just happy for him. You know, it's looking like this thing has worked out for him. So I'm excited to, you know, compete with him on Sunday. You know, we played the Jets last year. It was fun competing with them last year. So, you know, I always like those matchups. Like last week, it was Jesse Bates and Von Bell. You know, so, you know, we like those matchups.
Absolutely. Jabrill, good stuff, my friend. We really appreciate all the time. Great insight, great conversation. Best of luck against Seattle on Sunday.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
That's Giants safety Jabrill Peppers. Want to remind you, you can find the Giants Huddle podcast on the Giants Podcast Network, which is presented by Investors Bank. Make sure you go to Giants.com, the Giants mobile app, or any of your favorite podcast platforms to find all of our podcasts. Thank you for being with us today in the Giants Huddle podcast. For Jabrill Peppers, I'm John Schmeelk. We'll see you next time, everybody. Stay safe.